For those of y'all that saw a post yesterday about Lucy that said one of one continued in comments, and then you went to the comments and it wasn't continued, that's because the internet betrayed me. And I intended to share this story via text on a screen, but the internet betrayed me. So here you go. Here's story time about Lucy. Well, bring it here. Come on with it. In November of 2020, Lucy Luann the Labrador was diagnosed with mast cell carcinoma. One of our most favorite vets in Raleigh, Dr. Galoni, advised that there weren't a lot of treatment options other than tumor removal and Benadryl. So we took out several of the masses, started taking little pink pills every day, and carried on as normal. Since then, Lucy has gone under the knife 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times, I can't quite recall. This past summer, my father drove Lucy out to Tulsa, Oklahoma to let Uncle Andy operate on a big tumor that had started to grow on her back. The surgery went well. Lucy came home with a nice, new, big scar across her left to right side. Earlier this fall, a new tumor appeared on Lucy's back. It started out about the size of a pebble, a little lump. In fact, my mother has taken to calling Lucy Lumpy Lucy because of all the random little bumps she has accumulated over the last 4 years. The pebble, however, became a small grape and then a small apple and stopped. And for months, it stayed that size. A few weeks ago, at about 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, I knew something was wrong with Lucy. I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but by 3 p.m. it was pretty obvious. The apple on her back had doubled, almost tripled in size. Fluid had started to pool in her abdomen. She couldn't stand up on her own, didn't want to go outside to use the bathroom, and wanted me to hold her, all telltale signs that she was getting really sick. I have always had some lines in the sand. I'd never keep a dog that couldn't walk or shit on their own, and there I was within about 24 hours watching the love of my life struggle to stand up and struggle to go outside. I made an appointment with a vet here in Jackson for Wednesday morning and called our most favorite vet back in Illinois, Dr. Holbrook, to make an appointment for Friday evening, the earliest day I could get home to Illinois. The vet in Jackson started us on some prednisone and I called Uncle Andy. He said, in short, if she wasn't feeling better after 3 days on prednisone, she probably wouldn't get better. So we had a timeline. I called Dr. Holbrook and told her the situation. She agreed with Uncle Andy's assessment. Let's see what she looks like after 3 days on prednisone. I told her that if we came in Friday evening and she thought that it was time, I would trust her enough to make the call. She understood. God bless John because he drove to Jackson on Thursday morning just to turn around Friday morning and drive Lucy and me back home. There was no way I could have made it the 6 hours driving alone, my dog sick in the back, and me unable to hold her. We pulled up to Granny and Grandpa's house and I lifted Lucy out of the car. I'm not sure if it was the 6-hour nap she took on the way up, the 6 hours of belly rubs and head scratches, or the 3rd day of prednisone, but she started to perk up a bit as she slowly sniffed around their backyard. We walked inside and I said to my mother, I hope she makes a liar out of me today. A couple of hours later, we were in the exam room with Dr. Holbrook. Lucy was wagging her tail, getting up on her own, begging for more peanut butter, and definitely making a liar out of me. Dr. Holbrook said 2 really important things. Number 1, better living through pharmaceuticals. And number two, she's still got some gas in the tank. We spent the rest of the weekend thanking God for prednisone and watching the tumor on her back shrink. No one happier than me. But there was some sad news to come our way that weekend. Good old Lou was in the hospital. You see, my grandpa McGregor died on April 1st, 2007. He was a stalwart man who commanded attention in every room he entered, not in a gruff or harsh way, but in a lively, twinkle in his eye sort of way. My grandmother McGregor carried on, active in her church and active in a bridge club she and my grandfather were a part of for years. In 2011, grandmother McGregor moved in with my parents. We all kind of thought that's how life would go for the rest of her days. Enter good old Lou. Lou Von Baron was also part of the bridge club and had lost his wife a couple of years prior. Gran and Lou began spending time together, and by 2012, she called me one day to let me know that Lou and I have decided we love each other and are going to get married. Gran at 82 and Lou at 81 got married at First Presbyterian Church in Springfield, Illinois, at a sweet little ceremony attended by family. Gran vacated the master bedroom at my parents' house and moved in with Lou. They got a kick out of going to the grocery store, telling the butcher and the checkout clerk that they were newlyweds. Good old Lou and Gran traveled, a cruise to Alaska, trips to St. Louis to see the Cardinals games, a leap across the pond to Ireland, and a few jaunts up to the Northeast. Lou had the first great-grandchild, and Gran loved doting on that smart little baby girl. Lou gave my grandmother a new lease on life, and she lived nearly 9 happy years with him until she passed in August of 2020. Gran left behind a tiny little dog named Alice. Lou wasn't much of a dog person when Gran and he got married. My mother offered to take Alice when Gran died, but he said, "No, I think I'll keep her." Lou might be described as the world's most resilient man. A couple of years ago, he fell and broke his back and then made a full recovery. Although a gentle soul, he was tough as nails. Several times he's gone into the hospital and we've all asked, "I wonder if this is it," and it never was. Until a few weeks ago. The same weekend I was home with Lucy, Lou's daughter called. He was back in the hospital. I went by to say hello and maybe goodbye before I headed back south with my dog. As I held Lou's hand, listening to the AFib alarm go off next to us, he said to me, "You know, I can't walk so well right now, but maybe some physical therapy will help me get back up and running." I suppose he's a textbook example of the power of positive thinking. After a few days, though, Lou passed on November 13th. I'm not entirely sure what my grandpa's reaction was to his arrival upstairs, but hopefully everyone is playing a round of bridge together by now. My parents, of course, took Alice in. She's a short little stack compared to the rest of our crew of canines, but she loves to play, snores when she sleeps, and is very, very spoiled. Lucy and I are going to let Alice hang out with us for a while. Perhaps she'll fit into our little pack. After all, Lucy loves to play, snores when she sleeps, and is very, very spoiled. On this weekend of Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for the love of a family that has grown, evolved, and welcomed in unconditional love, whether it comes from a good old dog or a man we affectionately called Good Old Lou. I'm grateful Lucy still has some gas in the tank. We've added a furry friend to our family, and I'm grateful for y'all. Much love. Hope, Lucy, and now Alice.